Hello and welcome to the second edition of Double Take Sports Podcast. I'm Angelo,
I'm David.
and this is the fantasy football edition of Double Take Sports Podcast. Two generations, two people, one love for sports. So we are going to start off with the topic of, like I said, fantasy football. First off, I'm going to ask you some questions about draft strategy.
Okay.
So first off, big debate, ideal draft position. What do you think?
Okay. In a 10-man, 10-person draft, I would say you got to be 4 or 5. That is my ideal position.
Really? Why do you say that?
Well, it's a good question. Because you're getting two guys in the top. I don't know. If you take the first guy overall, you're not drafting again until what?
The 20 pick.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
So there's too much of a gap between your picks. It's what I did last year. I picked number 1 overall. Of course, I picked Christian McCaffrey, and we all know how that went. So I don't know. I'd rather go 4 or 5. What about you?
I'm going to go with a specific number here. I'm going to go with 6.
Oh.
Normally, it's very top heavy, but there's 6 guys, in my opinion, who are equally as talented. 3 at the wide receiver position, Lamb, Jefferson, and Chase, and 3 at the running back position, Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
So I think getting that 6th overall pick, that gets you a player in the top tier, and then you can go on and pick earlier in the second round. You can get a guy like maybe Jonathan Taylor, Ashton Genty, a guy like that.
I don't disagree with that.
So, next question. How are you evaluating your rookies?
That's a tough one. You got to go based on how they performed in college, obviously. A little bit with preseason, but they're not really. I mean, Jonte seems to be playing quite a bit.
Yeah, he does. Every snap he's taken, it looks like he's been worthy of that position, that draft position.
So, it's a good question. It's tough to evaluate the quarterbacks right now because they're just coming into the NFL. It's obviously an important position. They're trying to get them snaps. They're trying to put them in position where they can succeed. It's a tough process to evaluate those guys right now.
See, in my opinion, I would say that the position on the depth chart is the most important. I know you said college, but I would say for a guy like RJ Harvey, for example, Denver Broncos, he's probably their running back number 1. I would take him higher than a guy that was taken in the 2nd or 3rd round, like a Cam Scatbo, even though he was 4th round. RJ Harvey was a 5th round back. He's going to be high on the depth chart. I would look to take him over a guy, like I said, like a Dylan Sampson or like a Cam Scatbo, who was taken higher and who did better in college.
Good point.
So this next question, there's kind of like 2-3 questions here that I'm going to put together.
Sure.
So your draft strategy, what are you going to do? When do you want to draft quarterback? When do you want to draft tight end? I'm going to start here. I'm going to say that I like to get my running backs and my wide receivers before I go to the quarterback and tight end positions. I like to solidify the positions where I'm starting 2 or 3 players over the ones that I'm starting 1. However, the top tier of tight end this year, there's 3 guys, massive gap, and then everybody else. You have Trey McBride, George Kittle, and Brock Bowers. So if I can get one of those guys in the 4th or 5th round, I am going to go get them instead of sticking to my draft position. What do you think?
I don't know. Last year I went with, obviously we discussed this already. I went with Christian McCaffrey, number 1 overall. I feel like there's a top, like you said, there's a top tier of running backs. There's a top tier of wide receivers, but I also think there's a top tier quarterbacks. You got to go get your quarterback early. Me, I'd probably go after a Lamar Jackson, maybe a Josh Allen in the 3rd round.
Wow.
I don't want to wait because they'll bring you approximately 30 to 35 points on any given week. So it's important to get those guys, to me anyway.
I think you're right. That's a solid strategy, but in my opinion, I would go with a guy like Baker, Bo Nix in the 7th or 8th round. Maybe just as high of upside, a lower floor, but 2 guys in that range, that could get you a little bit better, in my opinion. So we're going to move on to specific player-based questions.
Okay.
Most important question of all of fantasy football, even though you said you probably don't want this pick, if you had it, who would you take 1st overall?
1st overall, obviously I'm not going to make the same mistake. I would probably go... Normally I would go with Justin Jefferson, but he's got a rookie quarterback that's going to be thrown to him. So I'm not going to take Justin Jefferson. I might go with Jamar Chase.
Wow, that's. I feel like that is the consensus, but why do you think you'd go with
Yeah.
Chase?
I think they're going to have a big year this year. There's a lot of downside to the Bengals last year. Obviously, their offensive line was absolutely horrible. Joe Burrow had a good year, decent year, but I think he's gonna shine this year. I think he's gonna be in contention for MVP.
Wow. Me personally, I'm going to go with a running back. I'm going to go with not Saquon Barkley. I say Bijan Robinson is my number one overall pick.
Okay.
The second year of this new regime, Kyle Pitts breakout year, Drake London breakout year. I see that happening for Bijan Robinson. He finished as one of the top best running backs, RB1, during the latter half of the season. He was on my team last year. I loved having him, my only reliable piece. I'm going to get him again.
Okay.
First round, if I get in the top 3, I think I will get Bijan Robinson.
Okay.
So, 2 questions here. Most overrated, most underrated. First, we're going to start with overrated. If you had to pick a player, who do you think is being drafted higher than you would draft?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to this. I think people will say Christian McCaffrey because he's hurt. So they'll stay away from him. Sorry, they'll draft him just because of his name and because he looks really good right now in preseason.
Yeah, 100%.
But with the recent trade that just went through
with Brian Robinson Jr.,
they're obviously bringing him there for a reason. Whether Christian's going to be taking some sporadic breaks throughout the year,
maybe
throughout the games, I think he's a bit overrated at the moment.
For me, I agree with you. I would take McCaffrey in the late first round, early second round. I just think he is the best running back in the league when healthy. For me, I'm going to go with a rookie. I know we're having some discussions about rookies. I'm going to go with Travis Hunter.
Oh.
I think even though he is a good wide receiver, probably second or third best in the class, even though Liam Cohen has said that he's going to play him on more wide receiver, I don't see a world where taking him in the 4th or 5th round, maybe even 6th round, is a good idea when we don't know what position the guy's going to play. And he's not even the wide receiver 1 on his own team. Brian Thomas Jr., rookie season last year, fantastic year when he was getting the ball to him. So I think Travis Hunter is being drafted way too high.
I see Travis Hunter playing more defensive back than wide receiver.
Yeah. We're going to move on to underrated. I'm going to start this one, actually. I'm going to say Tyjae Spears. It's a weird name, but he is the running back of the Tennessee Titans. Normally that was Tony Pollard, but Pollard went down with an injury in the last 3 weeks of the last season. Tyjae Spears stepped up, top 10 running back for those last 3 weeks. I think that instead of doing the split time that they were doing, I think the Tennessee Titans will lean toward Tyjae Spears, and especially with a rookie quarterback and the wide receiver 1 being Calvin Ridley, I think that the running back will get a lot of shine no matter who he is, let alone being a great player like Tyjae Spears.
Okay. Very good. I'm going to go, the consensus with everybody seems to be James Conner. James Conner is always the most underrated player, like even in the last 3-4 years. I'm going to go away from that. And even though he's not really underrated, I've taken him the last 2 years, and he's been my workhorse. I would take him top 5, honestly. Kyren Williams.
Wow.
He has been my go-to guy for the last 2 years. Very consistent, and I think he's underrated. If he doesn't go in the top 10 on people's boards, then I think they're making a mistake there.
Interesting. So I'm going to give you one more question about player, then I'm going to move on to specific player. So I'm going to ask you who the most worth it rookie is in your opinion. I said Travis Hunter isn't, but the other wide receiver, Tetairoa McMillan. That is the guy that I would say. The Carolina Panthers wide receiver number 1, Bryce Young's probably his favorite target in the running back room of Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle, even though they will get some carries. I think when they don't, Ted McMillan will get a lot of play. What do you think?
Cam Ward.
Wow.
He's going to get a lot of carries. He's going to run the ball quite a bit. I think he's going to get a lot of goal line touchdowns in and around the 10-yard line and in. He's going to do a lot of play action, a lot of running around the corner. And I feel that he will excel in that offense.
Interesting. I agree with you. I think the Tennessee Titans are the offense to buy in this year, even though they won't be that great. I think their players will be pretty solid. Kind of same thing with the Bengals, even though I don't think they're going to pass 500 this year. Drafting their guys, they have a great offense. I think they will shine.
I think they're going to give the ball to Cam. They're going to trust him, and I think he's going to succeed quite well this year.
So moving on to our speed round, we're going to start off with a guy that you talked about a lot already. We're going to go with Christian McCaffrey. What do you think about Christian McCaffrey in fantasy football this year?
Big if. If you take a chance on him, I wouldn't be upset about it. I think if you do, that's great. If you don't, that's great too. It's almost like a toss of the coin. He's either going to play extremely well or he's not going to play at all. So we'll see. We'll see. You?
See, I think Christian McCaffrey is a guy that I would take in the first round, but I would maybe look at other guys ahead of him, like a few guys I'm going to say later. I'm going to actually give you 3 more late first round running backs, quality guys. I would take maybe 2, maybe 3 of them over McCaffrey. So starting off with that list, I'm going to give you Derrick Henry going into, I believe, his age 32 season.
Yep.
Do you think the cliff is going to hit Derrick Henry, or do you think Derrick Henry is just Derrick Henry? Do you think he's going to have another successful season?
I think he'll have another successful season only because he has Lamar running the ball as well.
Yes.
Every snap, the defense has to worry about Lamar Jackson. So that takes a little bit of the heat off Henry. I believe he's just going to be a workhorse this year. He's going to run the ball successfully, and he's going to be a great player for Baltimore. And like I think I've said this before. I'm not sure I've said this on the Double Take podcast, but I believe Baltimore will reach the Super Bowl this year.
Wow. Reach or win?
I'm going to say reach for now.
Okay. So I think Derrick Henry is not worth the late first round pick. I think he's worth mid second, maybe late second, just because you do have that Lamar Jackson looming in the backfield as well. And like I said, the looming age cliff that looks to hit every single running back. Like we said the same thing about Todd Gurley back when he was really good. And his career just evaporated right in front of our eyes. So I think even though Derrick Henry, I don't think he will hit that running back age cliff, or I don't think he will do as bad as some people are expecting. I think Derrick Henry is still too much of a risk for me at that fantasy draft late round position. Next guy, Jonathan Taylor. He's been injured a lot, but his second year in the NFL, he was by far the best running back in the league. Do you think he can return to form with the Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones combination, or do you think how do you think the season will go for the Colts and Jonathan Taylor?
If he's healthy, I would absolutely buy into him. He's going to get the ball quite a bit this year, especially with the like you just said, maybe swapping back and forth with Richardson and Daniel Jones. I don't know what kind of a leash that Daniel Jones will have.
Yeah.
But I think the consistency of Taylor in that backfield, he'll be successful as long as he stays healthy. I would definitely buy in with him.
I agree. He is my number 1 player that I would take in a late round position. Number 2 being the guy that I'm about to say next. I think Jonathan Taylor, he hasn't gotten worse in a talent way, even with those injuries, but that risk, kind of like Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a dumb idea not to take him, even though he is one of the most talented backs in the league.
I agree.
Moving on, rookie for the Las Vegas Raiders, Ashton Jeanty. Number 6 overall pick out of Boise State, out of the Mountain West Conference. Do you think he can carry that into the NFL?
I do. I do. I've seen a few of his preseason games, his carries. He's just so confident with the ball.
Yes.
And he just knows where to find the holes. He is he's almost like a seasoned veteran already. I do believe, like, he's had a few setbacks. His first game, I think he had -1 yards. And, as long as they put him in position to do well from the start, I think that can carry out throughout the season.
I agree with you. When you look at the clips from that game, those carries from that first game where he had -1 rushing yards, the offensive line just folded immediately. And unfortunately for Jeanty, the talent's there, but he's on the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
So him and Brock Bowers are about to hit the heaviest carry job of the entire season, maybe other than Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. But I think Ashton Jeanty is a great player, fantastic player. I think he will do just as good in fantasy football. The last time someone was drafted with that early of a pick was Bijan Robinson. Last time before that, Christian McCaffrey. So if you look at those, the running back hit rate in the top 10 is insane.
He'll definitely get some carries around the goal line. He'll be the go-to guy.
Yeah.
He'll put up a lot of points.
So moving on now, Terry McLaurin, our only wide receiver of this category and our last player of our little speed round. Do you think that his trade request destroys his fantasy value? Would you pick him higher, lower? What do you think?
I don't think it destroys his value. I believe that these guys are pros, so they can put that to the back of their minds and perform on the field, even if they're very disgruntled. Get Getting passes from Jaden Daniels is definitely a bonus for him. I think they connected extremely well last year, and despite his trade requests, his being upset with the situation, I believe that he will succeed this year.
I agree. I just don't know what team he's going to succeed for. I don't know if Washington's going to trade him.
Yeah.
Personally, I wouldn't take him at his ADP just because of it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Terry McLaurin has another great fantasy year like he did last year. So we are now officially done with the fantasy football topic. Moving on to our one wild card of the week. The first game of the college football season, the Aer Lingus Classic in Ireland. 2 ranked teams for the first time in a while. 2 of the 4 ranked Big 12 teams. And 2 of the top 3 teams in the conference. This game has national playoff implications. I think it will be a great game. Who do you think will take home the Aer Lingus Classic? Kansas State, ranked at number 17, or the underdog, number 22, Iowa State.
Flip a coin.
Yeah.
Flip a coin only because these 2 teams, to me, exemplify top 25 teams.
Yeah.
Like, they're not probably going to finish in the top 10. They could. But those teams are going to stick around the entire year in that top 25. They're going to get some good wins. They might have some bad losses. But those 2 teams, to me, are extremely similar. I flip a coin, but I'm going to say Kansas State's going to come away with that game.
I agree. I think it'll be a fantastic game, even better than the thriller we saw last year with Florida State getting upset by Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that was a good game.
But Kansas State, just Avery Johnson, I think he's just such a great player. I think he will find a home in the NFL. Unfortunately, I don't know who Iowa State's quarterback is, but I don't think he will find a home in the NFL once he moves on from Iowa State. I see Kansas State just barely edging out Iowa State, and I would probably predict Kansas State to be first or second in that conference. I think Iowa State will probably be 4th or 5th. With Texas Tech and Arizona State, who do you think is going to win the Big 12? I mean, we have the 11th ranked Arizona State, 17 Kansas State, 22 Iowa State, and Texas Tech just made it into the top 25.
I really enjoyed watching Arizona State play last year.
Yes.
They're exciting. They're fresh. They're young, obviously. But they really surprised me last year. So they shouldn't be shocking anyone this year. They've arrived. They're a good team, and I think they'll finish first in that division.
Interesting. I'm actually going to go with a different take here. I'm going to say Texas Tech. I'm going to go with neither of the teams in this game. Texas Tech had one of the best recruiting classes with their insane NIL money. I think that they can build off what they started last year. I think they will be an easy playoff team this year.
Yeah, with NIL, you can certainly change your roster in a hurry.
Exactly.
And teams that weren't in contention can be in contention immediately. So yeah, it's a different world. It's a different time. It's exciting because there's so many good teams out there. Anybody can pop up. Like in Arizona State, to me, they can finish in the top 8.
Yeah,
absolutely,
for sure. So is there anything else you have to say about fantasy football, or are you all good?
Well, I know 2 years ago I won our league.
Yes, you did. This. Yes.
Last year I finished in the semifinal, but I took Christian McCaffrey. So that handicapped me from the entire season.
That's true.
I couldn't recover from that.
That's true.
So I can't make those same mistakes this year. So we're back in the same league again. There's 10 of us.
Yeah, I believe so.
Do you want to leak who you would pick first overall? Or are you going to hold that tight to your vest here?
I'm gonna leak it. I say Bijan, Jamar Chase, and probably Justin Jefferson are my top 3. Do you have a top 3 or?
I don't know if I have a top 3. Jahmyr Gibbs is such a wild card for me. I feel like he's gonna be, 75% of the carries this year.
You think he's going to take more carries from
I
David
do.
Montgomery?
I do think he'll take more carries just because he's so explosive. You can't keep him on the sideline.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. I don't really know. I know I like Justin Jefferson. I really do. But having JJ throwing it to him, we don't know what JJ brings to the table yet. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I have to say.
And I'm just going to bring up one more guy, CeeDee Lamb. We haven't really talked about him, but he's in that top 6, in my opinion, as well. A healthy Dak Prescott throwing to him. We are Cowboys fans, so I might be a little bit biased, but I think he will finish as the wide receiver 1 or 2.
And especially having George Pickens on the other side.
Yes.
Will take a little bit of the double team off of CeeDee. I think he'll get more touches this year. He'll get a few more yards, hopefully. Hopefully, the Cowboys can do something this year. But, of course, we don't hold our breath around here.
Yeah, for sure. And, okay, that will be it for the Double Take Sports podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And, yeah, two generations, 2 people, 1 love for sports. Thank you for listening.